Yeah. So what's going on with you, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me. It's a pleasure, Mr. Gibson, to talk to you at any time you need.
Hey, man, definitely, man. So, you've been a pioneer, man. I've been watching your moves for a while, and really seeing, the impact you're having in the community, and in the industry as well. So, for people who are not familiar, just to give them some background on you, let people know, how you got started in the game and became a boss, and then we'll get into everything you got going on.
I don't think I was ever a boss, and I don't think I'm a boss today. I think I'm just someone that understood ownership of time,
Right.
and I don't like to, to reflect on those words that they throw out at us, which put us in the darkness. But I'd say that I was somebody that understood, as an entrepreneur, I understood my time. And, they say time is money. I reference that, but I just say, your time is your purpose in my space. So,
Right.
uh, I go all the way back to, the 96, you know what I mean? Was like my first venture in the music business, which means, hey, it's been 25 years. Uh, and with this 25 years, it's been tradition. I just wanted to get this out the way before I even, let the show go. The guy that actually got me started, in this game, gave me the inkling of wanting to do anything in this business. He passed like 3 days ago.
Oh
So
wow. My condolences, brother.
yeah, it's been a rough couple of days. But I've also seen, like in Nipsey, I see how death brings people together.
Right.
And that's 26 years of brothers I know that knew him. That I have a different thought process now in which we want to enable. But yeah, I go back to 96, man. I got a real crazy story, so I can't give it all to you.
Right.
But I was somebody that was hungry. I was hungry. I'm not from Atlanta. I'm from Los Angeles, and I had an early music career. I'm a real hip hop. When they talk about hip hop, I'm a real hip hop fanatic. You know what I mean? Like I actually used to spin the back. I used to pop lock. Like I used to be in talent shows when I was young. So I think that's really the intricate part of where you start. You
Right.
know, I was renowned in that space. During the time of breakdancing. That's way before the Yeet or the
Right.
Hit. Before that happened. Guys like Bugaloo Shrimp and Rocksteady Crew. That was something,
Right.
that was something I was involved in. So, you just open up, a lot of times I say in life, there are certain experiences that are going to open up your life. And one of the experiences that opened up my life was meeting Ice-T one night. He was on Fame on a TV show called Fame we had back in the day.
Right.
And I snuck out the house and went to a club that night. You know what I mean? Out in Hollywood.
Okay.
And it was like all the breakdancers. I had to be there, man. I
Right.
didn't care if I had trouble or not. Man. And all those breakdancers were in there. They call them Turbo, but his real, pop lock name was Bugaloo Shrimp.
Okay.
And everybody, a lot of those guys out in Los Angeles know about these guys, Domino, and that was just a big thing to me because we just saw this man on Fame, and
Right.
he was a countersuer of the hip hop game. He was a rapper. He had one song out called Ice T. You know what I'm saying? That was the name of his single.
Right.
That was before, we'll get into that conversation, but that was before the whole default happened.
Okay.
You know? And when I go back and I watch Snowfall, that's like a predicament, a predicting of a young brother's life. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
13, 14 in Los Angeles, 1580 K Day, listen to Greg McAttack, and the first thing going in my first ninth grade year of high school, I heard "Boys in the Hood are always hard."
Right. Right.
That's a default. So, as progression came, LA was getting really rough, and I had gotten into a whole lot of trouble, and my pop had moved. My pop came out here on vacation one time, And then he came back and was like, about a year later, and was like, I'm moving. I'm moving.
Right.
And I was out in the streets. He was like, "Are you coming? You coming? You need to get out of here. You need to make a change. That's why I'm
Right.
really I came. I was, I came, and I didn't like it. It was like really country to me. I
Right.
lived near the country. I was actually living near a place in Atlanta called Campbellton Road. It was like near county line, and they had we was way out in the boonies.
Right.
I did an interview with my pop, so he like talked about how he had no money when he had, he was in between his jobs because he worked for the post office, but he didn't really, saying he didn't have his placement yet, so he was just out here.
Right.
And actually doing that, we talk about transition. That's how he started his landscape company, just trying to figure it out here. So
Right.
until he started back in the post office, and it was just really country out here, man. There wasn't nothing here. It was like, it was one radio station. I remember that. The Fresh Crew,
Right.
there was no Greg Street. It was none of that.
Right.
I remember that because I went out to this spot called Jelly Beans. I was like 18 or something. I went to Jelly Beans, and it was a bunch of fine black girls in there though. I was like, wow.
Right.
And that night it wasn't. And in that night, the crazy part wasn't no shooting. I didn't see, I wasn't moving around like somebody was banging over, gang banging. It was different for me.
Right.
But then it was like, hey, Shouty, you sound like you white. It was just different for him. I talked to him, so it was like I didn't like it. So I peeled back to LA. When I went back to LA, man, it was just getting rougher. Excuse me, it was getting rougher and rougher. LA was not the same. So I think I got in some real trouble, man, and I had to peel. And when I came this time, when I came to Atlanta, I was on the run. And so when I came to Atlanta, I ended up going to a concert, you know what I'm saying? And when I went to the concert, I just seen all these black fine women and like they just was going to church. And I was like tripping because I ain't never seen this many black women in one place in my life. Because California, LA's kind of diverse.
Right.
I'm Mexicans, Filipinos, Armenians. And so when I got to the concert, I was just flipping. And then after the concert, I think I went to, I went somewhere, but then it was like no fighting. Wasn't nobody shooting, I was tripping.
Right.
And telling my homie, I was like, man, this I just went out yesterday, bro. This is crazy.
Right.
Something different. I think a lot of guys come here and they be like, "What, man, this is insane." And Atlanta started to build and was known for that. And just the economy, it was good. You just saw a whole bunch of us, driving around in the nice cars. You see us, we were living in nice homes compared to like even LA today.
Right.
Got B&B out there, and it's just small, and in just little places, they worth like $500,000, and you just hop, skip, and a jump to the backyard.
Right.
So to be able to have a house, a real house in Atlanta was a big for somebody that would be from out of state, New York. Like, you ain't getting no room. Come to Atlanta, you have a spread for what you paying.
Right.
So anyway, as time went on, I was still getting in trouble. I ran into some bad situations, because, I didn't really know nobody here. And ended up, getting into the street, and, dealing with drugs, and just went to a bad space. And then I had a girl, and I had a girl at the time, and I was just my order wasn't right. I wasn't living right. And I remember she called me. Then, she had called me one day and was like, I'm pregnant. That famous line we get.
Right.
I'm pregnant. You know what I mean? She said, I'm pregnant. And, our first inkling, I had that same mind frame. Oh, yeah, you do that. But it really wasn't that because I'm already knowing it's mine. So it just, we was together. So, but what she told me changed my life because she told me I was having twins.
Oh, wow.
And so when she told me she was having twins, I think my life changed instead of, a lot of times, even there was other courses when I was like, oh, that ain't, that ain't mine. No, in
Right.
this industry, you got to battle yourself. And then
Right.
if you moving around and, those in the industry, we went through a lot of that. And, it came to the point where, she was just like, well, I'm having them. And, and I wouldn't, I didn't know what to say because, my life wasn't in order at all anyway. So,
Right.
uh, to be honest, when you talk about what made me a boss, what made me a boss in real life was being a father.
Okay.
And I say that because I don't see, it's a lot of people calling themselves bosses out here and they don't have any employees.
Right.
They're not paying anyone. You're
Right.
not doing, they're not giving anybody else any type of check.
Right.
And for what I know and for what I've understood, like bosses pay other people.
Right.
They pay people to survive. They pay people to support themselves.
Right.
Those are the bosses that I grew up and
Right.
understand. No matter what it was, whether you was getting some blocks or you was, whatever, man in the hood he's supporting, or this man at this job that got people in the neighborhood working. And so, at that point in time, I was just like, I didn't want my daughters to look back at me and ever tell, anybody or any of themselves that they father didn't take care of them.
Right.
My pop was in my life, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, hey, man. So I had to figure it out. And the craziest part of my life, and I got to give a plug. Now, and my partner, I met him later on, but the person that really connected me, that got that gave the injection and the spark, was myself.
Right.
I am myself. And so, actually my dad was tired. He was like, "Dan, you gotta go. You gotta figure it out."
Right.
That conversation there, I think a lot of men get, like, you gotta go figure it out. My partner I was talking about was there for me.
Okay.
He like cultivated me to get away from drugs. He was one that cultivated me, to start getting back on my hustle the way I was. He cultivated me he got a studio in the house, so he really get back into the vibe of loving music. And then we ended up moving together, like me, him, and a couple other partners from DeVry out in Clarkston. And around that time, Ghetto Mafia was out, and they were coming out, building their brand, and they started recording over there where we was at. So Nino and Wicked, I've been knowing them since day one.
Okay.
And, yeah, and we threw a party, and that's what kind of plugged and sparking. Like, we threw a party, and it was in Clarkston. It wasn't big, but it's put a spark in me when I started passing out flyers. I don't know what it was. So those passing out the flyers at this party gave me this spark.
Right.
And the club that we did, it didn't really make a whole. It was cool. It wasn't, crazy, but it was a decent little crowd.
Right.
But then I came back and they opened a couple clubs in Atlanta, which was Stature in Atlanta now. They opened this club called Flavor, and then they opened this club called Frozen Paradise on the east Stone Mountain. And the Atrium, that had just opened. And so right around that time, Hot 97 had opened. Chris Lover was an intern. That was his name, Chris Lover.
Right. Before he's Ludacris, but for the crowd, there's Ludacris.
All right. He interned, and matter of fact, he was best friends with my sister.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of people don't really know. Like, my sister, she went with Tip for like 4 years.
Oh, wow.
My sister went to the prom with Tip. So, like, I know Tip. I know Clifford. I don't know Tip from, and that's kind of weird because it's weird. My story is crazy, man. I'm telling you, because it was like her best friend was Luda and Khalil, and I think T.I. That's where they got beef. They been had beef when they was teenagers. Oh, and it was, teenage stuff. And but Cliff, me and my pop used to call Tip Tallhead. You know what I'm saying? Called Tallhead. He used to just walk in the house and his feet weren't touching the ground. And I used to trip. I'd be like, and I used to talk to him, and I was like, bruh, like, he was really bad. Like, Tip was a little gangster. Like he was in trouble every weekend. And I tried to, I'd have to have talks with him. He was 14, 15, 16. He was living in College Park at the time, I think. And him and his partner Khalil, like, these guys, now Luda on the other hand, Chris, Chris was straight up and narrow across the board. He was going to college. He was going to Georgia. And what happened, I came over to my mom's house and he was downstairs and I was like, he was like, yeah, man, I've been seeing you move, promoting and stuff like that. He was like, yo, they got some internships open down at the radio station. You need to come down here.
Right.
So that's what I did. So I went to the first intern meeting, they accepted me. You know, I went to the first, that was a good feeling. Like I went to the first meeting, it was me, Lala, you know, y'all know Lala from Power, Carmelo, Anthony White, you know what I'm saying? Lala, that's my homegirl. So we all started together. Me, Chris, Lala, my homegirl, Marsha Meadows, and Meet Me. Like we all started the same day at Hot 97 in College Park.
Oh, wow.
Right. So we got a little movie called The Interns Shopping. and at that point in time, I got fired. So I got fired first as an intern. I don't know how that happens, but I got fired because I tried to throw a party with Poon Daddy and Chris out in West Georgia, and they were like, "You can't." You know, I'm a hustler, so I'm a born like it's a habit. Like that's what I say. Like, yeah, you gotta make it, you gotta earn money, and yeah, you gotta hustle, and that's what Nick was talking about. Like, you gotta hustle, but then on another side, now you know, being that I'm of age. You know, I had to learn on the obtaining side, and we'll get into that too. Like, I think that's like the holy grail of really just understanding life, you know, and understanding, you know, having 300 bands, like these cats holding up this little chain on their shoulder, and understanding network. But going into it, you know, I got fired, and then at night I got to the club. And at night I ended up meeting Lil Kim.
Oh, okay.
This is when it all started to churn, and I met Lil Kim, and I met this dude named Diaz, and Buck Wild. Now, a lot of cats being from New York, like they won't know. Like, you got to really know these stories. If you know about Junior Mafia, you know the stories. Like New York was the first hip hop kind of space that started moving first.
Right.
Period. Like they jumped. You know. Now we had a storyline. Because Eazy, NWA, we was gone. It was just a little bit different. And being that we was on the East Coast, I got to be acceptable to all the East Coast movement. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which was cool for me because, you know, I'm from LA. So we trying to rock. You know, we trying to rock out. And Atlanta had nothing. I think it was one artist out here. They had this song called Roll It Up. Roll It Up Money. Like, there was a song called that. They had one gang in the city too called Down by Law. Like, they had a little something moved, but it wasn't like the way it is today. Like, man, but not. But anyway, as time goes on, man, like I was stretching, and that night when I met a DS Buck Wild, I was like, yo, man, I want to promote Lil Kim. You know, I got fired from the station, but I work hard. And it was a dude named Justo out of New York. Justo used to work at Atlantic. And, you know, that was like the first rep I started kicking it with. And he was just a good dude, man. He plugged me in.
Right.
And I remember talking to Buck Wild. Now, Buck Wild, he's another type of character, man. Buck Wild, remember, man, he tried to give me 20. He told me he was going to pay me $25 a month, man, to promote Kim. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something, man. This is about, now look, this is true. Now, $25 for a whole month. I got twins on the way.
Right.
You know, I'm trying to really figure this out, but I understood in the back of my brain, I understood the marketing. So when I started passing the stuff out before from the party, I was like, you know, this is a connector. So really, you know, I was still hustling. So I was like, I'm gonna use this, you know, so I can get in my hustle game. I ain't gotta really do a lot of talking. I could be like, boom, and then my hustle just works right behind it.
Right.
And to be with you, that's what worked. You know, I just be 100 with people. Like, I utilize the music to hustle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm saying, as an intern, it allowed me to get in the clubs for free. So I was around everybody, you know, when I needed to move, people started to see my face. And then that face recognition is what, you know, empowers you in your relationship. So as time went on, you know, my partner Van, you know, he was trying to break it down and teach to us, you know what I'm saying, from the beginning, like how to do the business stuff.
Right.
He was like the first person that ever told me about an EIN number. Now, this back in 97.
Right.
You got to imagine you know, a lot of cats is just learning about SBA and whatever, like whatever they got going on. But you got to remember, like we knew about this back in '97,
right,
so we knew about it and we were able to open a business and be compliant, but we didn't understand the finance of the business.
right.
That's a difference. And so I was making, I was like, yeah, I was happy to have a brand. It was called Nubian Funk Entertainment. And yeah, man, it was like 6 of us, me, my boy Rob, my boy Trini Kurt, and about 3 others. And then I was like, I want to throw a party. So this is what kicked it all off. So Frozen Paradise was just opening. They had a big old party that night. And so I think Flavors did too. And then I threw a birthday party. It was my first party I ever threw for my birthday. And I promoted, man. I promoted so hard, man. And it was moving slow about 8 o'clock. And so cats was like, you know, kind of skeptic.
Right.
And next thing I know, man, it turned 11 and the whole apartment complex was packed, man.
That's crazy.
It was weird, man. It was like cats were at the front door. You know, I'm charging $20 and I'm at the crib. I'm charging $20. They like, man, we ain't paying no 20 to get in. Open the door. I opened the door up. The money came from everywhere. So I was like, oh, this is it. This is what I want to do.
Right.
I'm like, man, it was just I'm at the crib. I just made like $800, $900. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm hustling. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta imagine.
Right.
You know, this is me getting that energy. Like I'm hustling, and I got this money, some passive, like I got some earned income right here.
Right.
Like and I'm partying.
Right.
So when you talk about these guys earn your leisure, I'm that guy.
Right.
And it develops from there. And so, you know, I understood about investing my money. So it wasn't just, you know, it was about coming up with a brand. Like I don't want to take my money and, you know, like we see most people just go buy something stupid. Yeah, you got to have a look. You got to have an approach.
Right.
You know, biggest thing I started to understand is building my brand. So the Kaspa brand initiated. You know what I mean?
Right. So you was in the game.
I was in the game. Like you couldn't even like Ghetto Mafia moving around with it sometimes. So you know they was in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
At the time, Big D. You know what I'm saying? That's my partner. And I think what happened. Oh yeah. So one of my if anybody knows about anything about this music business, the music is connected to the streets. I don't care what you got going on or where it comes from. And so being that I was in the streets already, you know, in Atlanta, like my cousin, I was out here, you know, I ain't gonna mention his name, but like he one of these movers. He's been a mover out here for years, you know what I'm saying? And you know, and so I was in the streets, so I knew everybody just from being with him. And you know what I'm saying? So when that happened, my partner pulled up on me and was like, no, when that happened, I needed another internship. I felt bad because I was working for this guy named Ryan Cameron at 6 a.m. Because I was like, I'm waking up at 3 a.m, going to an internship at the radio station because I'm working the 6 to 10 in the morning show for Ryan.
Right.
It's just starting, so ain't nobody, you know, V103 is a big station, and then I had to go to my other job because I had a job. You know what I'm saying? I worked at an HVAC company, and I had to go to that job. Now, my boss, the owner of that company, that's a big company. Now, the owner of that company was in the music game. This is the crazy part. Now, he hangs out with the Coca-Cola family.
Oh, wow.
This man that's straight like boom, but he owns the biggest studio in Atlanta where everybody redoes their live performance recording.
Right.
He owned that building where everybody rehearsed. And it just so happened he came to me one day. I'm at work. I did sales for HVAC and did like some maintenance stuff on the weekend. So I'm not doing nothing that got nothing to do. But he been seeing me like passing stuff out and talking.
Right.
And man, the craziest thing, he came to me and was like, yo, I'm about to put out this artist. I want you to come to the studio. I was like, what?
Right.
And so it was like this, you know, it was like this prejudiced manager, you know what I'm saying? Like he was real I mean, this is at the time in Atlanta, it was prejudice. Like it was shown in Atlanta, like cats was rolling around with flags. This was something different. Like I'm looking for different type of flag.
Right.
They got Confederate flags. I'm like, oh, this is different.
Right.
I'm always on militant on go. So yeah, so basically, you know, I had to make a decision because he was like, either you're gonna work here at the job or you're gonna work for the owner. I'm like, and then the owner was like, well, I mean, he runs that. I can't. And I was like, you know what? It was the first day that I took the spark on quitting my job, like working for somebody.
Right.
Like I had to take that step. And you gotta remember, I had twin daughters. So that was like a double thought I had to take.
Right.
But see, I had to go and this is what we call leverage. See, the real leverage is not about really the assets and because you can't if you don't leverage your time, you can't do any of that.
I tell people that all the time, bro. All the time.
You gotta leverage your time first.
Right.
So I had to understand, like, if I quit this, I'm not gonna go to this job for 5 hours or whatever it was, and I'm not gonna make this $300, $400, 300, I think it's something like that around the time, not even 200 or something. And I'm gonna just tell you how it worked. Like I was like, I need to get back into it. And my partner was hitting me, was like, yo, you need to go to this spot called Patchwork. They opened up this new studio up here. And he was like, I said, and he was like, yeah, and I heard the homies running. You know what I'm saying? It's like homies from the West Coast. And I was like, what? And so I went up there.
Right.
I didn't know nobody. I walked in and I was like, yeah, I'm from LA. Boom, boom, boom. And next thing I know, they took me up to, I met Bob Whitfield. Bob was like, yeah, you from LA? Like, boom. He's like, I've been hearing about you too. I've been seeing, I used to go to LaFace. My homegirl Chelsea used to work at LaFace, and I know Shanti. So I've been knowing Shanti and them for years. You know what I'm saying? Like before when she was just, so Chelsea and Shanti, I used to go up there and just go get free stuff because I already got in the club. Remember what I'm telling you? This multifaceted marketing. This is letting you know how I was hustling. So basically, I went there to go get the free stuff because even though I was fired at the radio station, my face was already good at the clubs.
Right.
So then I would just go make sure I had a bunch of product so I can get my hustle on.
Right.
So this is nothing that you got. This is not magic. This is just thought process.
Right.
You know what I'm
saying? Right. Being creative too. I went. Go ahead.
And this is why I teach kids about internships and how important these internships are. Like it's, and when I took that second internship, my thing was like, don't do anything that's gonna get you fired. You know what I'm saying? Right. That was my main thing. And then so the craziest part about it is you gotta remember going back, like I used to see Tip every day, blah blah. So when I go upstairs and I go do this intern, I talk to this guy named BJ Kerr. Shout out to BJ Kerr, shout out to Mean Green, shout out to Clay. I've been knowing, like, I know, like, they're like my family. Like in Atlanta, there's a certain amount of people. I don't care what it is. We're like really family. You know what I'm saying? Because we were to start really in spark of this whole what happened. It's just real family. You can't even like. So when I went upstairs they were like, yeah, we need to put these records in these boxes. You're gonna put 100 of them. I'm like, man, this is real work.
Right.
And I walked in, there was a dude named Jason Jeter in there. Now, Jason Jeter, as you go along in the story, he ended up running the label for T.I.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He ran Grand Hustle. But you got to go back, like Tip already, I know Tip, they had ended up hooking up and they had started working because Tip started coming to the studio to Patchwork.
Right.
Added Crew, LaFace, Dungeon. Look, when I took my breaks, I told everybody when I take my breaks, this is what I teach my kids. When I took my breaks, I used to go downstairs and Outkast would be down there. I'm on break. I don't even, you know what I'm saying? I'm coming down there to get me a sandwich. Like I'm really up there. I remember, and shout out to Razzcast, man, because I saw Razzcast on there. Yeah. I was working Razzcast Soul on Ice.
Yo, that's my joint, man. That's my Soul on Ice. It's so dope. This is like a movie. This is like a movie right here. You gotta get this movie right, Soul, man. I know you probably already got the deal already.
No. Nah, I can't give you everything. This is my stories. I have the story, and the reason why I have the story is because I have a couple intricate parts. Like I say, there's drivers, there's pavers, and then there's resources to the pavement. I'm actually, when you talk about Atlanta, without a doubt, it's probably somebody that has really created this good space of just Atlanta being where it is today.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that because Greg Street, another guy. I promoted these guys and put them in this. We were a great team. You know what I'm saying? I was more interested in something else. You know, and everybody, you play your position and it ends up. But I think the storyline now, I can talk about it and I'll bring it out that, you know, being working at Patchwork, I ended up, you know, really I met UGK and Bun and Pimp, you know, and got close with them. And then I met Missy Elliott, I met Usher Raymond. You know, I just met all these people, just, you know, the whole Dungeon family. I just knew everybody because I was an intern at Patchwork. Not only that, I was out every night because I was working. I was hustling and I was passing out my stuff and I was hustling. So that was my whole key. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, when my daughters came, that's when it got real. You know what I mean? I was like, you know, I gotta really tap this marathon. I'm about to go. I'm about to do something great. And one of my partners, my day one, you know what I'm saying? He actually put out Racks on Racks. Gave me the guy that put out Racks on Racks, well, one of the guys actually gave me one of my first big checks back in the it was an artist named Mr. Koo, and he had a song called Born Threat. Now that was a big record in Atlanta, like today. Like it's still a hood record, it's still one of the big records. And they were connected with another group called A Damn Shame. Now these guys, this is about the time before I started working with you know, these other artists. And I'm gonna tell you about how this really happened in Atlanta. Like people don't know, they gonna get it right now. Well, Mr. Koo, like I told him, I ended up promoting him in the city. And actually it wasn't. It was a guy named Tiger. Now Tiger was my first project ever. I gotta speak on that because Tiger was my first project. The label owner's name was Dwayne Stokes. He owns a bunch of clubs in Augusta. And then D-Rec. Now, Rec Shop is in Houston. So if you know about Rec Shop out of Houston,
I heard
a guy D-Rec and Dwayne Stokes had a label in Atlanta because D-Rec's brother played for the Falcons, and they actually gave me my first check. But when it started heating up, and they saw me in Peppermint Records, he told me I'm gonna pay you $700 a month. Now that was a big jump from $25. So I took that on, and what I started to do was teach kids. I teach kids about mathematics, and I walk across and I walk around the room, and I like to look at these shoes because you know some of these kids are 13, 14, all the way to 18. They got on $200 and $300 shoes.
Right.
And I asked them, you know what I'm saying, and then the one, you know, I asked the whole class, well, how many of your parents are struggling? And all the kids raised their hand. And then I just asked them to go back and tell me how much your shoes cost again.
Right.
And I talked to them around when I speak to them about when I made the $700, and I talk about those shoes because with $700 a month, that's like $175 a week. I got 20 daughters. It's like, what do you like? I gotta make this make sense,
right?
You know, because I'm not thinking about this month. Like, if I don't get no more money, then I need to make sure I save another month. And how I'm gonna do that when I got bills I gotta pay? So it's just in a retrospect. And most people talk about entrepreneurship. Some people talk about it. Some people get into it. But if you gotta get into it,
right?
Because it's you're going to be able to, it's nothing that you can comply. Now, with leverage, yeah, I mean, you can get yourself a little room. It doesn't mean that you're going to have success, though. Money doesn't make you successful in entrepreneurship. Purpose and being consistent and persistent and having great energy and believing in your brand does. And so, just to counterattack that story, I was at Patchwork. And a guy named Eric Johnson, he was working for Sylvia Wrong, and they were working on the first little compilation, before the So Def compilation, and it was coming off of Electra. We'll let you know how long ago this was. And he said, "Yo, I'm gonna give you $2,000," and I was like, "What?" So this is 700 to somebody talking about 2,000. I'm like, you gonna give me what? He was like, but I want you to go to South Carolina. And I'm like, bro, I don't know nobody in South Carolina. And he was like, hey, no, just do what you do here. You know, do what you do here and go down there and do the same thing.
Right.
So this is like, I didn't care about anything. I had $2,000 was it. And the other thing was my car wasn't going to make it.
Right.
At all. So I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do all this. So basically, my homegirl went to the Vride, and I'll never forget this. That's why she'll forever be whatever she wants. Like, she let me, I told her, but this is business, and this is what makes sense. Even today, you guys have to scale together and do things together. It just makes sense. You know, she's in college, so you know she's broke. So basically, I offered, I said, look, I'll pay your car note for a month. I think it was like $299 or something like that. I'll pay your car note for a month. I just need to use your car for 2 days.
Right.
Made sense to her. You know what I'm saying? It's fully insured. Bye. You know, she, you know, okay. And so when I go down there, I don't know nobody.
Right.
So this is why I talk about the importance of information. You know, information is key. Like, you know, the education is cool, but I just, you know, education today, and well, you know, you need your ABCs 1, 2, 3. But I say that, you know, education, you got to stop fighting it, because the thing is not about the education, it's about the information.
Right.
Information is totally key, and without information, you can't be applicable. It just doesn't work like that.
Right.
Adam wasn't applicable. Eve wasn't applicable. That's why we're in the survival space today. And so, you know, not for those that are Muslim, whatever, you know, there's all average is a choice, so it doesn't matter. And I can go deeper and deeper into quiz and all that, but you know, I'll stay on target. So the whole process was, I went and got a yellow pages. I cut out all the information. I had this little black book. And this black book, I wrote everything down. And so in the morning, I wake up, I go to all these places that were in the black book. You know, they're record stores.
Right.
And I met all these people. I met so many different people. And they were like, yeah, we'll go to these places where the DJs are. They're on the radio. And so I went. And I just wrote everybody's name in my black book. And I took pictures. I used to love taking pictures, man. You know, I learned how to take pictures. And I took good pictures. This is why I scaled when they talked about, you know, I don't come from whatever this promotion is today. I come from Super Mario. I'm a real OG. If those that know about any of this street team game, the biggest cat in the game was Super Mario. He was, you know, and then behind him was my partners, Chris Santiago. You don't see a guy like James Cruz running P. Diddy whole manifested, because we come from the bottom.
Right.
You know, these are guys that I was around. Like if you know James Cruz and don't know Chris Santiago, you're missing some pieces. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to know the intricate pieces of this game. And so that was one of those things I was trying to climb to, man. I remember, and this is one intricate thing that happened. So I came back home and showed the guy, you know, showed Eric all the pictures and all that, man, and gave him a long report. I was like, man, he was like, look, you ain't got to do all that, bro. The record, I said, but you know, I heard that record like 20 times on the radio.
Right.
He was, yeah, man, loving it. He said, you did a great job. He said, I got some more work for you.
Right. And
see, it's because of the work. It's because of the service. Right. You know, he got 100 pictures. He probably was looking for 10.
Right.
He got a long report.
So you over delivered. You over
deliver, man. That's how you do your services, bro. You go above and beyond. So he gave me the other part of my money, and then, you know, I felt something different because that record was Shorty Swing My Way. That was like one of my first, you know, major little record was Shorty Swing My Way. And it's like anything else. It's like when you first get your girl, or first, you know, it's always that first time. See, when I got that first check, it initiated that second check.
Right.
You know, sometimes, and if you're not getting information, it's hard to be scalable. That's why I said information was key. When I got that information from South Carolina, I did the math.
Right.
Hey, I don't need just the information in South Carolina if he's going to pay me $2,000. No, I really need all the information in the whole country. But for now, we're just going to start in these 4 or 5 little states. We'll start there. And that was my thought process, man.
Right.
And so I didn't have to have anybody holding my hand. I didn't have to have anybody telling me about, but no, I just kept going and kept working. And eventually, like I said, my guy, Mr. Cool, Kevin, we worked Mr. Cool, and then his partner, which is a guy I went to school with, which is a cat I knew named Brian. He had started this label called Trump Tight.
Okay.
And yeah, and about that time we had a distributor that came to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Now, back in the day, if people don't know, now this is how you know whether if you're a real OG in this game. If you're a real OG in this game, you know about Selecto hits, you know about Southwest distribution, you know about Art distribution, you know about you know, in the Bay Area they had, you know, a cluster, they own space too. And the reason why I say that is because Southwest distribution, and we'll get into that story, but that was the distribution angle as an independent, or just that's how all the records got to the stuff. The Turtles, like you had to have distribution.
Right.
And so we had a guy that moved in Atlanta named Mike Walker, and he ended up being our distributor. And you know, when you move in the market, you want to have the right relationship.
Right.
As a distributor, I mean, you know, if you're distributing anything, people, just to let you know, all you e-commerce people, anything you make up, that's all I'm gonna give y'all. I'm gonna give y'all the rest of this. I gotta watch.
I mean, we try. No, I got you, but I got a couple questions for you. So, I mean,
that cut him off on the live, man.
No, I'm with you. I mean, but man, you dropping so many jewels, man.
I haven't. Look, I have not. This right here is the jewel. This kid would always say, "We don't move until we press up everything." So that means he used to have flats, posters, just everything, man. Like he wouldn't move. Like he ain't doing nothing until everything's in. And then once everything was in, we would move, and we would move on everything.
Right.
He was the first guy, and that's how I met Greg Street. I met Greg Street promoting these artists. And actually how I met Greg Street, it was in 98. I'll never forget. I met Greg at a club and we got to argue. That's how we met. we met because we were arguing and we had a battle in between each other about breaking a record. Now, I told him, like, I don't care if y'all play this record or not. I'm about to break. And I don't think we was calling it break it. I said, they about to play it. You ain't got to worry about it. Then I think I threw a CD or tape at him. You know? And so probably about 2 weeks later, I ran into him again outside, and he came and he saw, he's like, "Hey, I see that they playing that record. You got them DJs to play that record." I said, "They playing." He said, "That record jamming." And he told me, he said, "Here, take my number. Call me tomorrow. I want you to come to my house." And that's what changed my life. I can't tell you guys. I can't, because my information that I have, I cannot share it with you. You know what I'm saying? When I say that, I can't tell you every single thing.
Right.
I just can't. But and you got to look at Atlanta. You know what I mean? I have a lot of information. You know what I mean? And a lot of information on everybody. You know, and during that time and how things work, you know, this is a $9 billion industry here in Atlanta, and I'm a part of that. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know, at the time he told me to come to the house, I went over there and I walked through his house and I seen all these plaques, and I was like, "Man, who are you?" You know, I seen pictures with E40, DJ Quick, Ice Cube. I'm like, "Man, who is this dude? Right? Who are you?"
Right.
And he was on the radio, and I was like, I knew he was on the radio, but it didn't matter. He just knew. It was like, bruh, like, who are you? You Ghetto Mafia, I mean, Ghetto Boy, Scarface. I mean, like, he knew everybody, and he, you know, he ran Houston. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, really? He was like, yeah. I was like, okay. And he was like, I got a new plan we about to do, and I want you to be involved in it.
Right.
And he got a box. What was the name of that song by Fiend? The mother, because I'm down with my, I'm down with, like they had that, he had that record. He gave me a box of those. He said, "Go get these out." I think it was like 2 boxes of CDs. He said, "Go get these out. We about to work on this."
Right.
Y'all know how that record went. So,
right.
So anyway, I took a couple meetings, and and I started promote. And when I started, I had this meeting, and this meeting was very intricate. It was like, I guess it was one of those meetings that they had. They talked about these meetings back in the day. I guess I was in my own, and he said pretty much, he was like, well, you're going to be this guy that does, these markets, and this is how this is going to work, and then, we got other conglomerates, and this is how this is going to work. So this is how it worked. You know what I mean? The first record was Ain't No More Playing GA. I still got the check for $6,500. I got it on Memorial Drive in Stone Mountain, and I talk about that so people understand the intricate part that I mean what I say, so you can understand no deviation in Ain't No More Playing GA. I broke that record. There's no, I have the check for it. I hear people and I see everybody running around. But you can go ask Troy, and he gonna tell you me. Like, he's not gonna say anybody else. And when you go look at that record is the pavement in Atlanta.
Right. I see what you're saying.
Right. So I want you to follow me. And so after that, A Damn Shame around that time we were still promoting, and that first album it sold 70,000 copies independently.
Wow.
So that about $280,000 for distributor. This is the first time we're starting to see this churn. So my thing would be go to Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, and South Carolina. So that was my route. Remember, I understood to go get the information. I trick my kids all the time, and I'm like, well, the guy paid me $4,500. Now remember, I got $2,000 to go to one city, and this guy's talking about $4,500, and I have to go to Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee. Now the kids like, man, I'm not doing that. And I was like, man, I'm not about to do this either. But why did I go? And it teaches them about they miss the subject line. They drive way down. They drivers. I keep telling you, they drivers. They not thinking, because you're not thinking about what I told you initially. I just went to go get the information, whether I got the or not. I just gas up and go get the information.
Right.
Then that information is going to make me triple fold.
Right.
And that's what I did. So when that happened, you got Little John. I Like Them Girls. I did that record. That's what took Little John to go get his deal. It's where BME came from. It's because I took that record and he got a clause deal from Warner Brothers from the distributor. They had to pay the distributor out of a clause for $200,000 once we did it, and then that's how your boy over there, Michael Karen, he was the one cutting the check. So I'm just letting you know, like, I'm not in that space. I got a lot of information. And so after that was Collie Park, Whistle While You Twerk. I did that record. You know what I'm saying? So we're talking about real big intricate records. Yeah, that was the fastest record I ever broke in life. Like, that record broke in 6 months. Like any of the other records, like Troy, about 7-9 months. These records take a minute. I'm sure, even with viral, I mean, just to get people to listen to it. This is without internet.
Right. I wanted to jump in real quick on that, because I tell people that all the time. And, my story is a little similar too, as far as the street team and, just getting in the game wherever you could fit in. Right. But what you just keyed in on a good point, because now that we in this virtual space and this social space, everybody thinks that as soon as you press the button, that's it. Because they see these other artists, they don't realize the machine is behind them. So they see the million views, they see all that, and they think, oh, it's lit, yo, I'm hot. I'm not now. One story just to give you was two records. It's Tippin', Still Tippin', right? Mike Jones and them, and the Chris Brown joint, right? The first big single. Now, I was working in a record pool at the time. So all the cats, I would see all the records coming in. And I saw Still Tippin' go from a white label to, I think it was Swisher House. They printed up their own little imprint. Then I believe, if it's not Warner, it was one of them, Universal. Somebody.
Yeah, it was actually the Warner Chapel Atlantic, but it used to be a subsidiary that I can't remember the name, but it was a dude that used to work. I can't remember, Jay Grant.
Okay.
Jay Grant with his old, anyway.
Yeah.
Jay Grant was running it. Yeah, I know them all, baby. Jay Grant was over there working with that label, and actually it was a 3-word label like Vinyl used to do. Like Vinyl used to do the deals with those subsidiaries.
Right. And so that's what I was telling people, like watching that record, that was my first experience watching a record come from just a straight white label out the factory, then working it out the trunk to it getting a little buzzed, and then they put the imprint on it, then it go and get picked up by the major, all the way till I end up at the Mix Show Power Summit, and I'm standing behind DJ Michael Watts and Paul Wall in the line, right? Just getting checked in. And I'm like, at this time, that same weekend, he had the #1 song in the country, bro. Right?
Yeah, well, see, you can't, if this is Puerto Rico, you can't really explain that to these guys. Right. They never get Mix Show Power Summit. Shout out to Renee. Shout out to the RPM crew. Yeah, they did. That was some of the most intricate space for the industry. If you weren't, and I'm gonna say this, if you guys are in hip hop today and you guys missed the Mix Show Power Summit in that industry space, y'all missed the whole hip hop industry. Yeah. That was it. You couldn't buy that. Like you can't. You guys are now suffering trying to figure out which DJ to go. Just imagine going somewhere and everybody's
DJ in one place.
Right, you go in the elevator and man, you got a whole Mix Show team. You good. Yeah. I went to Mix Show Power Summit, man. I went to Mix Show Power Summit both years. I went to Mix Show Power Summit both years in Puerto Rico, right? Right. Now, and even though I knew everybody, it was a whole bunch of DJs I didn't know, or just some cats I needed to get to. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that was good because they were turning on and telling people about me. Right. So, and it was early time. Like New York was really, we had a big space there, man. And like Atlanta was building. Like Greg was, we were building. Right. But it wasn't respected a lot because they, it's Atlanta. Atlanta got to go back to where they started now. Y'all wasn't, these records they started to give us some space, the dance space, the Ain't No More Playing GA, they gave you that culture space. Whistle While You Twerk. Right. They gave you some Atlanta was given a culture. You understand? There was Martin Luther King, and that was it. There was no culture here. They didn't understand. And then a lot of people in Atlanta aren't even from Atlanta. Right. So you start to see that cultivation of more and more people like New York, Puffy and them just like, man, they and then I'm gonna say this, like it was a togetherness. Like it was Bob doing something with Shakir, RH to Shakir, and then Shakir might be doing something with Nooney. You know what I'm saying? And then they used to work together, man. Or then Nooney did something with Shaka. It was, it was a family. We were building something. And then of course there was an inside of guys that were the inside of inside. Right. And I was just a street. Now I wasn't into all that, man. I had my own thing, me and Funky, and I used to be in the street, you know what I'm saying? Right. Funky and X-rated and and no, don't get it twisted now. Mars is my guy, like Mars and Trauma, all my guys like I gave Alex his first $20,000. So it's like, you gotta really understand these stories. And then the biggest thing when was when I started to do this Toys in the Hood thing. And so when I first started getting my money, so basically it went just like that. It went Pastor Troy, it went Collie Park, Whistle While You Twerk. Collie Park got a deal. Now after Pastor Troy, another little guy came out named Miracle. Okay. Now Pastor Troy was signed to Gene Griffin and RH to Gene Griffin. He's the guy that put out Black Street. Okay. And RH to him, he was a gangster. All right. And Gene Griffin was out of Augusta. Now I'm telling you. So you got Gene Griffin was putting out Pastor Troy and Miracle. Then Collie Park, Smurf put out Whistle While You Twerk. That's how he got the Collie Park deal with a clause, and he didn't make no money off Whistle While You Twerk because he got sued. Oh wow. But not only and he was in a conundrum, he was stuck because he had a big record. Now they was making money off show. They didn't make money off the record, but that with the show building that momentum got him an imprint. Right. About the imprint. So slow down. So Polo, Jazzy, Cuddy Cartel, RH to Cuddy, Motown had a group called Jim Crow, and they had a song called "Holla at a Player."
Okay.
Did that right? The last one that I did my fantasy. Now, before I did my so there you go. That's Collie Park music, right? That's BME, right? That's Show Enough and Zone 4,
Right.
right? And there's DTP. And then the other one that fell in place was Convict because Polo took Akon while he was sleeping on Divine's floor to LA to get a deal. See, I was involved in all that.
Right.
So that's Atlanta, man. And then hold up, that's not it. So what really happened, I was Greg was pushing, you know, like I told you, he had me pushing the limit. Him and Percy had a great relationship, of course. He was, you know, he was getting $100 million. You know, they was getting real money around here, man. And, yeah. But man, I'm trying to tell them it ain't the same. So, and this is before. Listen, this is 96, 97, 98 money. This ain't even, you know what I'm saying? This is when y'all watching. Y'all watch the movie with Cameron and whatever some movie is. But anyway, so my homegirl brought me a tape named Imani. She was like, "You need to call these guys. I'm hearing these guys are hot." I was like, so I like to listen to music. You know, now you has feedback. You can't get no feedback from somebody.
Right.
So I popped in. I was like, "Oh yeah, this is kind of dope." I was like, "This is different."
Right.
So I called the number on the tape. I'm like, "Yeah, man, I got a promotion company here in Atlanta. Blah 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 blah. You know, I want to promote your music. You know what I'm saying? I'm working with my man Greg Street, but we won't." And he was like, "All right, we'll check you out." And so I thought about a week later, got a call from the girl. "Yeah, we need your address. Blah 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 blah." All right. About 3 days later, I got this big box. And when the box came, it was weird. Like when the box landed, I got a phone call. And he said, "Yeah, Wardy, I just sent you 100 flats, 100 posters, da da da." He said, "You part of the team?" He said, "Let's work." He said, "Matter of fact, I already put your check in full in the month." And he paid me $800, and that was baby. And that was a Cash Money Records, man. So I went on tour with Cash Money before the deal, and I was on the road with Baby, Juvenile, Wayne, Turk, BB, Slim, Joe, Black, Unk, Rambo. Like, look, I can speak the names because I was on the bus. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Before the deal, before any of this happened. And this is where this is when I was putting cats on, like Lil D and Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? Yo, that's my partner. Let's put him in the mix. Judy Jones, another lady in the Midwest, she was super heavy. Like she was like, and this is when that business comes out about Selecto hits, Southwest distribution. This is when you had to know and understand how this business worked. Like this guy, we wouldn't go nowhere but Louisville, all the villes. That's where we would be on a bus and we'll go to all the villes and then we'll stop in Houston.
Right.
You know? And it was just weird because they was some real street cats. You know, I'm from LA, so I was just but I hadn't seen nothing like this. This is like they come from a different water, man. The New Orleans stretch is different.
Right.
Way different, bro. And I can't contain to tell stories about dude because I understood it like it was like the devil's advocate. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
After ask him something, you already know. Just you don't even want to ask him. I used to just go straight to Slim.
Right.
Talking to him is about to be. You got to catch Baby in a good mood. You know what I'm saying? But if he's in a good mood, you good. You know what I'm saying? He about to use this. It's gonna be good. But a lot of times he just skeptical. He just complacent, man.
Right.
Who he is. That's why they got him set up like that.
Right.
You know, that was when I learned about the market, though. Like this dude was crazy. We used to sell bulletproof vests. We used to do all kind of stuff. We used to get money, and it was just different. But he used to have the clubs set up himself. We used to have the records from the tapes. They were selling in the stores, so people had the music. They had their own brand. Like it was just different. Bro, I learned how to be independent from working with Baby.
Right.
And like and so what happened was No Limit was still going crazy in Atlanta, man. If it wasn't the Tank, it wasn't nothing. And so we had just dropped 2 records. One was Sitting on 22s,
Okay.
and the other one was High. And the High record, man, me and Juvie got real tight because BG was sick a lot. You know what I'm saying? He was still, you know what I'm saying? He would be shriveled up in the bed some nights. So we would just, and so what ended up happening was me and Juvie got so tight, man. It was like I was like, bro, I'm finna make this work. I don't care what it is. Like, boom. And so they used to give out these VHS tapes. And the VHS tapes, you know what I'm saying? They were just like promo. And so, I got one in the mail and I went straight to Greg's house. You know what I'm saying? I went to his house and like people don't know this story. He probably, I keep telling people like, no, I went to his house, man, and I popped this DVD in and I played this DVD, bro. And we had a real conversation because people know person and actress alone.
Right.
And so, this was and that's why I say this is a real conversation. So these are things that when everybody else caught up with it and what was going on. I'm dealing with the real,
right?
So in the real conversation, and I guess it was that time because whatever was going on with P at that time, the listening stations started popping up. I remember I was in New York. I started seeing the listening stations pop up in Manhattan. I was like, man, what is this? And it was because of Master P. Because he was putting that whack music with 2 songs on 15s, out, like, bruh. And I think that's when the relationship started, you know what I'm saying? And so boom, it was like alignment is God's time. And so that night, I remember, I'll never forget, that night he played it like he played High like 6 times, man. And when he played that record 6 times, I got a call from Baby on Wednesday saying, yo, we just signed for 30 million and I'm flying you to New Orleans. So this was different. This is when my life started to scale. This is when my life jumped, because when this happened, when I say everybody in the industry, this was the last biggest label deal in the game.
Right.
People don't know that. I don't know if they know or not. This is where they gave the most. This is it. Right. And when I say that is because of the percentage. They don't do that. They're definitely not doing it now. So when we got to New Orleans, man, it was just I was the only person here from Atlanta. Like it was, I'm the only person that worked with Cash Money outside of, everybody that was in town was just all new. And this is how you know it's intricate. Because back then, my boy Gordon from Rap Pages.
Okay.
I start bringing Carlito. I'm start bringing some names. Source. I'm gonna start bringing, Smokey Fontaine. My boy Daquan Thomas. You know what I'm saying? I'm bro. I know all these cats. Right. And I know Daquan like the editor of Vibe now. Like these are, this is back then in the RH. That's when I met Garnett Reed, because Garnett was actually the person that was liaisoning. That was about to liaison with the Cash Money label, because he was at Universal at the time. And Garnett came to me. If you know Garnett, like Cash, Garnett he hustled too. He had kind of put me in a space where he was like, I felt good about it. There was another guy that worked in him, Ralph. He didn't really know about. But what happened was he was trying to he was telling me like, yeah, Universal gonna pay you now. You just be working under the Universal umbrella, blah blah blah. And I was like, I'm cool with that, but I want to work with Cash. I'm not leaving them. Right. Guys, like I'm a part of it. And what happened was, I went and told Baby, I was like, well, bro, they telling me I'm gonna be under the Cash Money Universal thing now and whatever. And then shit, Baby and Slim grabbed me and went right over to Garnett and was like, oh, hey, listen. He was like, let me tell you what's gonna happen. And Baby talked like, hey, boy, let me tell you what's gonna happen. See, you gonna pay him from the Universal check, and we gonna give him his Cash Money check.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I'm fam. Now let me tell you, I'm pretty quiet. You know, I don't like to really put my business, but I was the only one that had some flowers down there, bro. So when I tell you I had everybody in my room,
right.
I had everybody's number in the game. Like when I tell you about this black book, I've had that black book, and I got a real black book, and I'm transgressing it. We're putting it in a mobile space now. Like this is crazy. Like I don't want to hold that no more. I just be like, here, let me show you how this works. How you talk to these people.
Right.
From there, man, it was over with, man. I mean, at the point in time, the Ferrari that was in the video, it's not babies. It's another dude named Terrell. Like, that's a whole nother story. I started working with them, and that's how when we went on that tour, Young Buck was with me. So Young Buck and D-Tech and these kids named Firstborn. So we was on the Cash Money tour. So basically, this is the first time I got me a super check. At this point, I got 3 kids. You know what I'm saying? Right. I got I'm in a relationship. I got 3 children, and I probably was making about, I think at this time, probably, $50,000-$60,000 a year. But that's a lot in 90. That was a lot in 99. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then, okay, this is what happened. So we're setting up this tour, and this is how we're on the road, we're on dates, and this is how Young Buck hooked up with 50 Cent. This is how he became a part of G Unit, because 50 Cent met Young Buck while we was on tour with and that's how he got him off of off the tour with them, because Cash Money Baby was going to end up signing him.
Right.
And so that's what kind of stirred that, and they actually gained a relationship. I don't think G Unit happened until a little bit later, but that's how they built their relationship. And around that time in 99, and I never forget, I got invited to the what was it? No. Was it? No, it was 2000. 2000, correct. It was 2000. And the reason why I say I had to be correct with this was around, I think, February, something like that. We had just got off tour, got back home. My mom was like, you got this letter over here. You know what I'm saying? It's a letter from Sprite. And I was like, Sprite? And so I went over to the crib and I opened it, and it was like a flight pass and a hotel stay for the weekend for the Source Awards. All powered by Sprite. I was like, what? Yeah. You gotta listen, man. You gotta understand how that felt. Like I'm like, I've made it. I'm a celebrity now. You know what I mean? Like I'm feeling great. Right. Because I can tell you this, and this is my story and what I teach these kids. Now, I'm from LA already. So I'm going home. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm not just going home to be going home. I'm going home as a celebrity. Like I'm plugged in. Like And so when I got to my mom was like really happy for me when I got to LA, because we had took a break from the tour because it was Source weekend. Like they doing all they write-ups, they out there, boom. So we, and I had my own company, man. I didn't want to never do, take. I had my own company, and that was important to me. That was another thing. Like I never, DTP or BME or like it did. I wasn't trying to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna support the guys, get them where they got to go. I can make my money. Now, part of that inclusion, I didn't understand publishing. Now, I tell a lot of people I took a lot of fail in that. Now, I'm gonna tell people too, like they offered me 2 points on Whistle While You Twerk, but hey, they wasn't no money in that anyway, so I ain't tripping. They offered me 2 points on Fantasy on a Ludacris album. I didn't take it. I was like, no, I just want my check. They offered me 2 points with Lil Jon on that album. And I told him, nah, I ain't want it. I want my money. And, I didn't understand that at the time. So, that was like, that's why I say information is important. I could have been eating across the board.
Right.
And that's what's important when we talk about stream. But, when you got a D-boy mentality, even though I had a business, you know, and I was taught something else. You know, they weren't teaching me credit. They telling me, yo, we spending cash rules everything around me.
Right.
Cream get the money, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it say cream get the leverage.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it say
Right.
that, it said cream get the money. So you know, it's just cash flowing, and which is important and most important today. And I didn't know how to work that. So it was just, you know, basically understanding that I was good because I was disciplined. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. Like when I came home with that first bit of bread, you know, the mother of my child, she looking on, I put it on the table. She was like, oh my God, where are we going shopping? Where are we going? You know, and that was kind of like, you know, not, you know, that was a thing where I was happy too, but that's not, I know that's not where I was trying to go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and it didn't make no sense to me. Like she, you know, like I told her the other day, I was at my granddaughter's birthday, and my pop, you know, she's a postal lady, and so I told her, I said, yeah, my dad said you're making about $38 to $40 an hour. She looked at me and said, so, because you know, because I ain't trying to get in her pocket, but I'm like, what you doing, like.
Right.
You know, she just be, you know, she just do what she want to do, like, you know what I mean? Because I mean, that's a like $20 and but $40 an hour. I mean, you can move some stuff around and just kind of be good. You know, she raised kids, so and it was a great time for my family. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, like I said, I went through a lot of trials. You know what I'm saying? Early. You know what I'm saying? So I was finding something I really liked. And anyway, so when I got to LA. And that's when I met Tigger, like Tigger and a bunch of just all the DJs. We were staying. This is the crazy part. We stayed at the Hyatt. It was called the Hyatt at the time. Now the Hyatt sits on La Cienega and Sunset. Now it's that, and Justin Timberlake had a restaurant downstairs.
Oh,
now,
wow.
Same hotel today is where I used to take all my DJs every year. It ended up being the Andaz, the same spot where Nip did the marathon. But we'll get back. We'll go to that sometime. But when I ended up going, man, this was like something that like you need experiences in your life. I call it. My new thing is gonna be dividend other people experience, and that's dope.
Right.
So and you got to get other people. I mean, exposure is expression, man. Like my pop, he even talks about it. Like he took me all over the world by the time I was 12. He's just taking me on vacation. So now, I mean, for me being on tour and being all over the place, I mean, it was natural. I mean, everywhere. So exposure is expression. It plays a big part of you in your genetics. And so my partners at the time, we were from the same hood, ran Interscope. So they had just got off the Death Row business. You know what I'm saying? Because Death Row wasn't on Interscope no more at this, you know, at the time. And but Death Row was still there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Death Row was gone. Like Suge was gone, but Death Row was still in the building. And so my partners in LA, like they was running it, and it was dope. Because when I got off the plane, they was there. They was tripping. Cause like, yo, we can't believe, you know, it's like we're fam, like, and we running the building, like we about to be in the space. I'm about to really be, you know. And he gave me a cup, and when he gave me the cup, he said, "You gotta wear this tonight, and you gotta have this cup with you." And so I ain't even paying attention to it. I was like, all right, man, threw it in the bag. I'm just ready to get to this hotel, you know, I'm at the crib, you know. And when I was getting dressed, and I was like, I think I told you, I was like, hey, bro, you got this. He said, we got these shirts. And when I looked at the cup, I seen a marijuana leaf. And when I opened up the shirt, it was a big marijuana leaf, and it said 2001. And I said, oh no. And sure enough, man, it was the release party for 2001, the signing party for Eminem at the Playboy Mansion. Man,
that's crazy.
I was done. I was like, and my baby mom, she called me when I was there, yo. And was like, yo, what you doing? Where you at? And I didn't want to be like, yo, I was like, because it just came out on Fresh Prince of Bel Air. So it was like, oh man. So I'm like, yeah, I'm at the Playboy Mansion with Dr. Dre and Eminem. And I met Eminem in the bathroom, you know, because in the Playboy Mansion, if
Yeah.
anybody's been there, they know it's netted. It's real netted, and they got caves. And those caves down here where the bathrooms are, you can just hear all these birds going crazy. Walked in the bathroom, it's Eminem down there finna roll up with Miss June and Mr. July, man. It was a real interesting space to just to be in that space, man. We
Right.
you know, that's why I say these relationships are way different, man. That's why I don't trip. Like I got like you know, with any of these guys, you know, I'm like 42 platinum records in, so I don't really,
Right.
not one is worth more than the other. I take those as helping, you know,
Right.
helping family and or helping another one, you know what I'm saying? And so my career progressed after that, man. It's not one person I haven't promoted, you know. It was a point in time in coming to Atlanta unless we were, you know.
Right.
And it kind of scaled out right before my daughter passed. I was in New York at the All-Star game. I think this was Money and Violence first came out.
Okay.
I was in New Jersey, man. I got so many stories because I'm not gonna be able to get into it. So like I could say, you know, the Jeezy stories. I got Jeezy stories, and you know how Trapper Die came about because I started Legion of Doom. Me and this chick didn't get along. I want to be with her, so that was bad energy. I ended up stopping the Legion of Doom. They kept going, and we worked it out. And I stopped that, and at that time I was depressed. I ended up start working with Noonie, with Sierra.
Mm-hmm.
So I did 1-2 Step and Goody. 1-2 Step I really broke because it was an argument between that Ludacris record. She had a record with Ludacris, and then she had a record 1-2 Step. And I told him 1-2 Step was way bigger, but they was going for the fact of the Ludacris.
Right.
Blew her out the water. Shout out to my man DJ Irie, man. Irie killed that record in Miami.
Right.
Irie murdered that record in Miami. And then around that same time, at the time that they were putting Boys in the Hood together, and that's when I met Demetrius. I met Demetrius outside at a studio. And I already knew him. I knew him and J-Bo from being in the club, Gentleman's Club. I used to know him because I used to be in the club on Monday night, Gentleman's Club.
Right.
They was quiet guys, like, this cool guy, you know what I'm saying? So when they started to get open, I started to look. You know, I'm a street cat, so I started to look at it different, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of already had my eyes open because I done seen this happen before. I done seen it already. And but when me and Demetrius met, you know, we had a great conversation, man. It was like, you know, goals, said things that we gonna do. I was with it because, like, at the end of the time, like it was just time, and I felt him. Like, I'm from LA, I like that, you know. If Detroit, like, yeah, bring this movement to Atlanta, like, you know. And that was when they put Boys in the Hood together. And then around that time, I was still depressed. Coach K was on the road with me. He was working a record with CeeLo and Jazzy. He used to be on the road all the time with us, and he used to just be like, "Man, just start the new brand." And you know, I was just contemplating, and then one day I called Greg, and I told him what happened. I was like, "Man," I said that girl done put problems in between me and my guys, like, you know, and that was Funky. Like, me and Funky was the best. Like, me and Funky was breaking everything, bro.
Right.
That's how it really worked. Like, me and Funky, like, everybody in the city from the beginning, they know it was me and Funky was really the go-to. You know what I'm saying? And then it kind of broke us all up because we were just really family. It wasn't even about that. It was like, you know, and by that time, you know, Super Friends were starting to gain ground. And I ain't mentioned I went away for like a year.
Right.
And after that party, I had to turn myself in. So after that party, when I came back from the Source Awards, I had to turn myself in. I got into some trouble. But I ran my business while I was in there. And so that's what I talk to people about too. Like, I had all the accounts, Bad Boy, Interscope, AT&T, boom. I was running the company. I made like a quarter while I was in there. And I had no money to spend. Couldn't spend no money on nothing. I just took care of my kids. So, you know, when I hopped out, it was pressure.
Nah, man, that's legendary, bro. Like you got so many. Yeah, like that's why I said from the beginning the impact. And I think a lot of people don't realize it's a difference between even fame and impact. You see what I mean? And
Right.
And one of the things I wanted to get to bang your ear about was the tech, because I wanted to give you your flowers, man. Like, I've been watching. You feel what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people don't pay attention, but I'm watching it, and I noticed those classes that you're doing with the kids every week, right? And I'm like, you know what? And he talking about all this technology and stuff. And I said, and I've always been messing around with websites since WordPress came out. I found this one video on YouTube. It was like how to make a website step by step, right? And I said, wait a minute. I said, if it's step by step, I can't, I'm small, I'm pretty all right under the cap. I'm like, I just gotta follow the steps, you know what I'm saying? Do what he do. You know what I mean? And once I made that first site, I was like, yo, this ain't that hard. You just gotta follow, you know what I mean? And then once you know what you're doing, you do about 5-10 times, So I wanted to just shift the conversation because we could go, we could go forever. Like,
yeah. That, I just tell people this. My first one, that was like I talk about my first big record. Like I said, somebody paid me really. I was Shorty swinging my way. That was like a quote unquote big record that the last person I worked with, like just intricately. I mean, I just did a deal for my nephew last month, and he just did a record on the Culture 3. So I think it doesn't matter, man. Score, there's so many, it's just, but for me individually, the last thing I was going to do was sign 21 Savage, and and that was like the last. Well, that was going to be the last person I was going to sign Joseph and with my partner until they, some street stuff that went on, and that didn't happen. I was so upset about that. I'm still, because he was a good kid, and he had no green card at the time, so we was trying to figure. They kind of railroaded that deal in to make that work. It just, came out after they was getting the money. It came out. Oh, he's not from here. Like, what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They trying to slide that money off. I knew that was going to happen. That's why I was like, bro, like, you can't, you're not going to put this money on a social of this guy being on videos. It's not going to happen. They're going to come see. And that's what happened. So, and then I was working with Ayo and Teo, the Rolly, which is super cool because I was testing out my platform, like being a year in. And what happened was I was talking to Future and Drake. I was about to do the Summer 16 tour, and I remember I was coming home from LA. It was the first year in the world I ain't had no DJs, I ain't throwing no parties, I ain't doing jack. I'm just at home doing my, and then it's even more weird because like I've never been in LA not doing my whole weekend. And I'm just myself chilling and just enjoying myself. And I was talking to Future, and I was really, I've been talking to Future and Drake, like boom, and I kept all the meeting notes that we kept because I needed to keep all those. So when I got home, I was able to configure. And I play it for kids too because they just don't. When they hear that, they just like, man, what do we got to do? Drake? Like it's like, like I and that's why I started putting out the other day. Really, to be honest, like I know everybody, man. It's like, and surprisingly, I remember calling Future last, and I told him, bro, I can't go. I said my daughter's in the hospital, and I said I don't know what's gonna happen. And at the same time, I was shooting. Shout out to Juice, my film company. We were shooting a TV show for CBS, and school was out, and I was working with kids. I was still having to go I had to do the TV show, and then that's when I had a whole set of kids that from each school and had them come work out on the show. That was part of our platform. And, that was just the first time that I couldn't control anything. And when you're in control for so long, like when I say control, I mean, I had at least 100 guys, on my team. I directed, you know what I mean? I directed my family, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it was just, and then I had all the right information. So it's just like, when she passed, that was what kind of curved me. And then I started, I broke down. I really broke down, and I broke down to the point I started to live regular, man. And, and I started to learn. Like I transitioned into education,
Right.
and I got into technology, and I started finding out I was really a nerd. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I was like, yo, like it's just like Nip. Like you look at and to be honest with you, when I started really getting into it, and I found something. When I was in LA, I went to go see Sam.
Right.
And I told him about STEM and bro. And so you'll notice everybody looks at it. So I've been dealing with, I'm from LA. So
Right.
Quick and Smart is that plaza first.
Right.
Then the next thing is Slauson Ave. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? This is when I started dealing with him in Slauson Ave, not the Marathon. So it's
Right.
like when it came about though, most people look at the Marathon, but they won't pay attention that he has a telecommunication company next door. And so
Yeah.
that's what they was missing. So it'd be times, shout out to Doe, shout out to Big U. It'd be times I go over there and we meet all of, and we meet and talk. Because you gotta understand, like, there's certain guys and we know everybody. Like we know
Right.
we clutch. And so it's like Cass would ask me when I'm going to LA, I'm shooting like, I just saw you over there in Compton with Wacko. I was like, yeah, that's my homie. And he would be like, but then I see you with White, but then I just see you with Doe and you. I said, yeah, bro. I said, see, the thing is, and a lot of these artists out here, and a lot of y'all, I ain't gonna put you on blast because I know your business. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm really from LA, so it's like I know, I've been in the car when conversations been going on. I just wouldn't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? I know not to, and that's why I say certain things not to say because you're not gonna put somebody, I ain't gonna put somebody out there like that because I already know how LA move. You know what I mean? And and I had an incident with Chubby one time. Oh my God! There used to be a song "Meet Me in the Tunnel," and I never forget, man. It was the first time I seen Sam snap. Like I had an artist out there, Chubby, and then was working on, and he kept doing something in the store, and I was just back and forth with him, back and forth. I'm like not trying to argue with this nigga. And bro, I said, bro, let's chill. I ain't trying to. And before I could just keep going, that nigga Sam came out the back with 12 gauge, put it to his head. I was like, no, I'm out here working with these guys. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I guess because, he was out there with, shout out to my boy Magic, my boy from Trey 8. I was like, bro, this 60s, this you about to start a war, bro. You just running your mouth and you understand these politics. First of all, you got on all this red and they allowing me to let me shoot this video out here because of me, because of our relationship. It's Inglewood family just ran through the spot. Like, you don't even know what's going on. Like, so at the end of the day, I just got so mad at Chubby, man. I was mad as hell at Chubby. He was like, what? What? I was like, bro. I was like, I was so upset at, but, because he been in some space. But, I just, during that time was when, we started to get tight. And then I just started seeing the difference. And I was like, I didn't want to be like that in Atlanta and help all people in Atlanta and all these cats in Atlanta. And I'm not from Atlanta. I'm from Los Angeles, Dina. So it's like I had to go home, and make that work. And so that's why I say I'm different from what people would per se try to put a hitman or, bro. I'm not that. You can't even give me that. You can't even start to cluster. I started a toys program in the city of Atlanta, and then we got it in 22 cities. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not like
that's huge, yeah.
Yeah, I started in one school, and now I teach in 40 schools. Like you gotta understand the process. Like when you start looking at people and certain people, and so I started to know. That's when I told me I was like, that's how I knew. I knew I was different. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I'm the first person that I brought Nick to Atlanta because I wanted him to see it wasn't no killing. I wanted him to see Black people know how to live together. We don't have that going on, and then the economy is perfect. Like you ain't gotta shake it. You can get you a nice asset, nice house, and at the same time as you're reaching. So he was related to Alex. So it was just like, bro, I'm in them type of plays, bro. So when he go home, I'm running Polo label at the time, so running Zone 4. I'm in LA all the time. I'm at the studio we used to go be across street from Interscope called No Excuses. That's where Dre and Timbaland and Danger and Polo, I mean, that's where they was at.
Right.
You know, I'd be in there with all of them. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm not in the hype. That's why it's hard to be in the hype when you just been in this. I don't get excited. Like I just don't. But I get excited about Dre because Dre is hard, man. He's probably the dopest. You know, I came up under Dre, so I always get excited when he's coming to the studio. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a groupie for Dr. Dre is different. So YG and them came. Poon had brought him to Polo because they wanted him to manage him. But you know, Polo at the time, you know, he's Atlanta. He ain't with all that problem. Yeah, that wasn't, you know, for him. And so you know, I told Poon just bring him back to me and let me hear the music. And so he brought YG back with another kid, Ty, and Mustard. Mustard was a DJ at the time. So Mustard, so eventually, so off the rip, I knew Mustard's uncle, DJ T. See, I know T. I know, you know, I knew his uncle. So and at the time, I think Ty was messing with the Villain. You know what I'm saying? That's the crew that had a little clothing line at the time in LA, and he was a producer. So I just told Mustard, I'm finna start this Hitman West. I already got this Hitman West thing moving. Right. I'm gonna put it down with the Hitman West. Right. Super excited. Like I had balls to the wall. Like it was like he ain't never been in. And so we got to do his first mix. I did their first mixtape. It's on Dat Piff right now. Right. NWFNA. If you go to Dat Piff, they first mixtape ever for Pushes Inc. It's on Dat Piff. It's called NWFNA, man. You got to look it up. YG, Ty Dolla Mustard. And I took them on their first tour. Right. And I took them out there. Like a matter of fact, man, Def Jam never really supported, you know, West Coast artists. And you would notice that with Warren. You know what I mean? Warren talked about that. And around the time I was trying to push them, and they didn't want to come up, you know, shout out to Eric Parler, just to let you know people. Everybody. I'm saying, shout out to my boy Sean Peckers. You know what I'm talking about? And I had to go see these guys because they weren't trying to come up on YG No Money. Right. And Max Bruce is the A&R. He not trying to do nothing. It's just boom. He's like, man. So I just put up the money myself. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, LA is my city. And I just felt like, you know what I'm saying, if I was going to do anything. Plus, the music was hot. Like, these kids had some hot records. I was like, and then I kept telling YG, mama, you got to sign all three of them. Like, you got to sign them. You got to sign all of them now. Boy, when I tell you, she still be crying when she see me. Kaspa, I know, Kaspa, I know. I said, man, I don't want to hear that. Anyway, they were like Tweedledee-Tweedledum, man. They're still best of friends, and I got super interviews, one with Nip, and I got another one with YG when I talk about how they plugged in, and you know they were able to go to the South and you know see. They got to get out and see other things than we saw in LA. You know, I didn't know they was gonna come up with the F Donald Trump record. Like, I had nothing to do with that. I didn't know they was going, but that's how they felt. Right. You gotta understand what I'm saying? They ain't never kicked it. So it's like me, you know, it was good because now they both came with me. They both got to see it, and then boom, they got it. And so when they got it, they started to exploit it with everybody else. And that's how they felt. They like, man, this and LA is kind of hidden too. It's like diverse, but then it's so hidden, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't really understand the culture of me, period, till I got to Atlanta. Like you know, I got some of my best friends, I got some white friends in LA that are, you know, really close to me. But I didn't know, you know, I didn't really understand, to be honest. You just don't understand it until you get around all your own people. And that was an intricate blessing, man, when I was able to go home and turn those guys up, because Atlanta, in LA, if you weren't Dr. Dre or you weren't, you know, Quick or you weren't Sugar Free or you weren't Cube, you couldn't get no play on the radio. You couldn't get no period to get nothing. Right. And so, like, I remember the first time, you know, I did my Toys in the Hood in LA in 2007, or was it 2008? And that was like the first time you know, somebody from Compton in LA performed together. That was the first time Kendrick, well, J Rock brought Kendrick out. It was the first time Nip and Kendrick performed on the same stage.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I got that on content.
Right. That's crazy, bro.
On the
That's
Toys in
crazy.
the Hood. It's on the Toys in the Hood. And guess what? I had them out there giving back. Like if you
Right.
look at me, I don't. If you go back and watch my platform, bro, I was on their head, man. I didn't care about none of that. Look, you can be as hard as you want. Guess what? I'm on the phone with Meech. Look, I need Jeezy to give out all these toys over here. Boom. Guess what? Jeezy doing 4-4. Since you want to claim that, we going to 4-4. Okay. Yeah. Kylie Parks or Chris Brown. Like, bro, I don't care. Polo, Akon, all of them did toys in the hood. Gucci, P, QC, it don't matter. Like, he probably mad at me because P gave him 10,000. But hey, I don't care. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna give back to these kids, bro.
Right.
And if you're not in respective of that, or just, you know, because a lot of cats get upset because they look at the funding and blah blah blah. Like, nah, man, I intricately go out here and go zero when you come to the kid. Now, one thing about it, I'm not from Atlanta, but when I came to Atlanta, I had all the artists go to all the projects.
Right.
Like, imagine a kid opening their door Christmas Eve and Chris Brown at the door. I remember the lady cussed the little girl out. Girl, shut up. Da, 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 da. Mama, Chris Brown's at the door. Girl, shut up, and did it and dropped grease all over the floor and couldn't even believe he was at the door. So these are the type of things, like all the projects. That was my goal, to give a smile, or to let them know that there was somebody that was there outside of what they seen every day that really cares about it. And so that was my whole plan. I didn't know it was going. God bless us to transgression in all these cities, but you know, I mean, hey, that's what it's about to me. That's what
Right.
I'm on, community space. That's most of these guys, 2 Chainz and Futures and Akons and Eminems and Little Waynes and you know, most of these guys did all my Christmas stuff. They always, when I need them to come to the school and talk, you
Right.
know, BOBs, like, bruh, I don't care. Like, they know seeing me, they know they finna do something with
Right.
these teens or to the kids in the future. Cause, you know, that's what I'm really on, man. I'm pressing on that because my pop, you know, was the guy in LA that would, you know, from starting from Watts, he would go out and just take everybody. Like, we used to go to all the liquor games because of my pop, you know what I'm saying? The whole neighborhood.
Right.
So I just always wanted, you know, I always had that role in front of me. And oh, because I got all the way back off the tech stuff. Let me get back to the business. So the tech space, like you know, it really was for me, because I think that's what inclined, you know, Myers about when he started getting into it. You know, he started learning, like, you know, first was the cryptocurrency when he went and did that deal with these guys. And then he started really getting into it. We start seeing like, oh, whoa, hold up. Because he was on it first, like really, like cats were just getting on it now. Like
Right.
on the token, he was on, you know, autonomous space. You know, you seen he was in the augmented space. Like, so, you know,
Right.
I was too. I was already pushing that. You know, I got like 9-year-old girls that make robots. So we significantly, you know what I'm saying, understand, you know, the presence. And that's what the bot is about, man. The bot is about, you know, we going after a tech space, but the bot is about black owned. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think like my daughter, you know, she just got her master's, one of my twins, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations to her, man. They just gotta stay out of the club with them AKAs, man. They doing more partying than they daddy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. I don't know what it's like. It's an occasion every other day. Like, you know what I'm saying? But and that was something that was dope to me too, because you know what I'm saying. I just remember this one conversation when Greg and Block we was at a studio or something, and Block was like, I think Jock had just came out. He's like, man, I gotta pay for these college coming up. You know what I'm saying? And I was just,
Right.
and it hit me like, damn, I gotta pay for college.
Right.
When? And I got these other knuckleheads. Oh
Right.
my God, I gotta work. You know what I'm saying? I was like,
Right.
I have to work. And so you know, and that's a part. That's really, I mean, that's not my success, but that's a really big part, man. Because I'm starting to meet more and more people without kids, and I'm just like now I'm starting to see what the importance of it. It's like your purpose. Like, why are you like,
Right.
what do you, like how, and then those that don't even take care of, how can you like, so I just facilitate this now. Like technology is important because, and when I want to say this is that it works for everybody. Like I got a grandbaby now, and she works the phone better than any of us. Like it's just the places where we thought we wouldn't be, we're here today. And so, she's somebody that actually, she works, works on her phone, and then she knows what she wants to see. She doesn't stutter step. She knows exactly what to go to. So then on the other side, my mom's complaining because I don't allow her to, she can't drive. And
Right.
so, but I want to give her a car, and I'm trying to show her about, Uber and Lyft, but because of her,
Same thing.
she
My
ain't with all
boss
that.
is the same thing, man. I'm like, Ma,
Like,
I can
she
send
don't
you
want nothing
whatever.
on her phone. She said she doesn't want that on her phone. No, I don't want that on my phone. So it's like, it's like that's what our new business is. Our new business, that we're adjusting now. And the reason why I'm glad, you gave me a chance to take a break so I can get a thought process again about what needs to happen. And so, with autonomous space, seamless integration, analytic data power, like I've already been in the aggregate space for probably like 4 years dealing with students and
Right.
and just understanding the psychoanalysis of thought process. And that's what I really understand. Like, if I was to do anything at this point, which I plan to do, is just adjust people's mindset. And I think it's from a base of something simple.
Right.
But frequency plays a big part of it. And so you got to think. Like, that's why I say I'm going even harder, because I feel like default. You know what I mean? Even though, they had F the police. They had gangster gangster. That was a lot of default, man.
Right.
Part, man. I was really living this life. Like I was,
Right.
I was trying to live it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter. It ain't about being hard or being, bro. I was trying to live that life. You know
Right.
what I'm
Right.
saying? And one other thing too, I tell people too, you only get one life.
Right.
You're not gonna get two. You're not gonna get three. Like my homeboy passed, but like I just say, I was upset because I didn't get to get back to him. But I mean, from what I know with me and him, oh, we did that.
Right.
I love you, like boom, bro. Like if you were sick, like we did that. Like you
Right.
can't, you gotta gain successes under your belt. You gotta gain purpose. And there's one thing that we're gonna be doing with our, with our platform. We got take a sip, which is basically understanding sustainability, information, and purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to gather a new format of your life. Like, we gotta be adjusted from our intake, our output, what I'm saying? We gotta understand, like I said, making and obtaining. I was just somebody that initially just started to say that, I could work 8 hours, you know, but when my boy gave me that EIN, I figured I understood I could have 8 businesses. And
Right.
so I already, and cats will look at me funny, like one of the little homies come up, man, I know you ain't out here doing that, da, da, da. Because I got a landscape company, you know what I'm saying? It's really an agriculture company, but
Right.
bro, I love landscaping. And to be honest with you,
Yeah.
I go out there, I mean, it was the other day, and then I got a guy, I have a landscape coalition. Like I had the DJ, that's what
Right.
Castro. I'm that smart. I did the same thing. I got a whole bunch of landscapers, and I
Right.
just a bunch of work, bro. And so I'm a divvier. I'm a
Right.
hustler.
Right.
Like, and one thing, it's not the landscape company. It's an agriculture company because we grow gardens and we
Right.
understand how important vegetables are. We understand the color code and all the vegetables. So it's something that's dope that people could tap in there. It's a health, and then there's a wealth space. I mean, people need jobs.
Right.
Kids. I understand time, so the job space. So we partner with the homework agency. I got a full SaaS company that will be a BaaS company of those that understand that software as a service. Like,
Right.
so like, when you was watching me teaching, I was actually educating and I was learning. So see, that it's two sides to education. You know what I'm saying? You educate, but you can learn because
Right.
see, we defy our future. But see,
Right.
I learned from the future. I learned everything. Like I'm in that trend set, and so like a couple weeks ago, I did something called Leadership Unplugged with my partner. Like he got another 40 schools, so we got about 80,000 students under our belt in
Wow.
analytics, man. And I got to the point too. Yeah, you like, oh man, let me put some music in it, like And I ain't never did that. I ain't
Right.
never put it out like that because that's not what it was for.
Right.
And now we understand what it's all about, man. It's about adjusting, and so we really gonna be probably some pressure out there with a new eco system technology footprint company because I don't think people really understood what that technology was. Nip was trying to gain ground. But you know how that go.
Right.
We doing the same thing in education and but we'll tend to find ourselves, in a new space because I've gathered the whole financial platform. My business partners, put me into this estate trust, and just I didn't know, now I understand convertible debt. You know what I'm saying? Acquisition. Like I'm in a whole my thought process for somebody that can go get 300,000-400,000 in a month and blow it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And like that song, get it right back. It's like now I don't know about the 300. That took me a little time, but there were great months, and it's
Right.
like you don't never care about the money. It's just about the purpose when you get it, because then you start to understand because you already know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
did it many times. Like I created Kobe Jordan. I made 450,000 off that without trying. So it's
Right.
like when you start getting this, it comes natural. Like my granddaughter's a millionaire already. You know what I'm saying? Because she has an established company with a 3/4 of a patent or something. And when it comes out, it already divvied her to have $1 million on top of what her grandfather's gonna do for her. So it's like we got to start understanding this platform. So I want to help creatives, and so we got plans for creatives, plans for first-time home buyers, plans of those trying to build a business credit out, plans of those just trying to get their PG straight. Like at the end of the day, I feel good, walking around, 10 people with 800 and having some money on their shoulders. So it just, my
Right.
mind is different. You know what I'm saying? And if I can, I can adjust people because I know how to brand, I know how to put the music out. It's just the product and services that change.
Right.
I'm not chasing streams. We want that money too because y'all gonna pay us anyway. You
Right.
know, period. If we moving, you gonna pay it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's why they want to inject themselves into our culture. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than the music, man. It's the culture. You got to protect the culture.
Right.
That's what it's all about. Is protecting our culture. It's the number one thing that sells in the world today, which is
Right.
hip. How can you not protect it? And how can somebody tell me how you gonna pay me or give me some money when, bro, y'all making money because of what we did?
Right.
And it might be different for these other guys because I get it. Y'all ain't really put in that work we put in. Like, I know what to do.
Right.
That's why Birdman gets on there all the time and be like, oh man, this thing is just so easy. I don't even want to do it no more. You understand? Because it's just, I'm going for big, giant dreams, big
Right.
goals, man. Like, because at the end of the day, that's where it's at. So
Yeah, man.
without technology, it's impossible because I walk into somebody, that's black now. I say credit, they might run off, or I say finance and they'll jump, or I'm
Right.
saying, or I'll say technology, or I'll say AI. It was,
Right.
throwing off. So, I just created something that was seamless. You know what I'm saying? It's all facts. We in finance, agriculture, communication, technology, service. We about to run up a real check, man.
Nah, man, I'm definitely, man, definitely saluting you. And I had just a couple quick questions. I know you blessed us with the time, and I respect, like you said, respect everybody's time. So I try to be brief, but just your impact of, like you said, you talking to these kids and machine learning and a lot of the lectures that you were doing. And I'm just peeping and I'm just, in the background. I tell one of my other mentors, I said, I'm just in the back of the dojo. You know what I'm saying? I'm just chilling, watching this sensei do what he do, trying to steal a move. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, but on some real, man, like, what you doing, is inspiring people because the people who could see it, even with in my line of work, I was dealing with financial services, and everything is automation. And so you like, wait a minute, instead of me trying to beat this robot, which I've been whooping on it. Like I figured out. I said, yo, they using us to teach the robot. Because every time we hit our goals, we get our money, and they like, well, you guys killed it, but they like, how come the robot didn't do that, right? So I start saying, wait a minute. I said, I'm tired of this robot. I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna find a way to figure out who's doing the automation. Like, how don't get scared of it, or find out how you program that. Because they the guys that they don't even bother that. You see what I'm saying? And I say, yo, man, and find out if you know, like you said, the credit game. I'm like, it's a lot of money. And you're talking about millions of dollars a month. And you sitting there and you helping these cats make millions of dollars a month. And you
Well,
like,
I was gonna say this today. Like I just got this today. And I wasn't gonna, but this is a new one, and it says, if you can read it, it says "Dream
bigger.
Bigger."
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, when you get a package like this, it's "Dream Bigger," and your package comes like that.
I was about to say that. It looked like that black boy right there. That gotta be black.
When you get this type of space, man, you start understanding, that I was in the space waiting for an invoice, you know, and and I want to say that, like, I know guys that might be waiting off the border, like we've been getting money all kind of ways, but I mean, when you start understanding business
Right.
and true life, then you can actually put your hustle to that.
Right.
Because their stature, the way they work it, and they've been doing this since, and I'm gonna say this: you got to have a mentor, you got to have a friend, you need some time off there, Johnny. You got to have a cheerleader, and you have to have the mentor, friend, and cheerleader. You always have to have these people in your life, and so it might be kind of weird. Like my mentor, he's 78.
Right.
Um, he's Jewish, and he's a 33-degree Mason. And so I get like my conversations would probably be way off target, but I have books I have to read. Like right now, I'm reading like 8 books,
Right.
and so I have these books I have to read from him, and you don't really understand it, but like it's like, but you get it, and towards like you just like, oh my god, like because there's been, there was a space in which this was created years ago. When you talk about the Fair Isaac Act, I mean, this is real talk. Like
Right.
this came from the time and when Isaac was going to get killed and slaughtered by Abraham.
Right.
This is you got to really. I'm not going to go there into
Right.
depth, but when you start understanding the stories of the beginning, you'll start understanding your wealth.
Right.
And that's why I say the first thing is to understand that you as an individual, understand what an individual is. You're in a space, you're divvied. So that divvy gives you unique space. If you're able to divvy, each person has their own unique space. And then dual says that you could be not one, but you could be two. You
Right.
got to better you, man. And the only way you become that is to have more information.
Nah, that's what's up, man. So you definitely killing them. So let me just shout out what you got going on with the tour. Just giving them a little sneak preview. So we got the bot website, you know what I'm saying? It's still coming soon, but let's talk about, like you were saying, with the tour, and what cities are y'all coming to, and
Well,
where can people look for it?
I'm going to all. I mean, we're going to go to all cities. It'll be remote. We kind of just tested it out. Core DJ weekend. Shout out to Tony. Shout out to DJ Bishop. ATL Top 20. But we kind of tested it out. So basically, we understand black ownership. When I say that, there's going to be like, and Nick talks about it in his procession how there's going to be a million and millions of people that are going to start businesses. You'll see a lot, especially women.
Right.
And a lot of y'all should have started it with your, these PPP people. So, and then there are going to be a lot of these businesses that are going to be in order, because if not, you'll have an SBA loan, a student loan on your credit
Right.
mark. We're looking at it as more of a process now of understanding that these are true reparations, and so
Right.
this is something that had to happen. Like you guys are probably just thinking that, oh no, in the spirit and the energy world, there was a time and place where you guys would be blessed 30-fold, 50-fold. This is it.
Right.
Now, in that footprint, our thing is just adjusting to make sure that that we can catch enough people to do their business and have real scalability and assets. Like, I know that earning leisure, they talk about assets versus liabilities, but hey, man, you got to think. I'm looking at liabilities in our culture can be an asset if it's in the right
Right.
space.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just in general, and I just thought that it would be good just to have some information. Like most of it is just like you just don't, people don't have the information. And
Right.
so like even major guys that have businesses in the market and good, hey, cool, we got the setup for $1 million business trade lines. And those are holy grail. You can't even, I
Right.
mean, you have $1 million business worthy trade lines, you pretty much can establish any type of space that you want to. And that's my conversation now. So it's just not really like, it's more important about your health, just seeing how you feel, how you living. And then on the other side, like I said, I just encountered a couple deaths. So, one thing is encountering knowing that, hey, you're gonna leave here. And so
Right.
my partner making sure that, and policies was in the order. Was the will done? He has no kids, so hey, how are we divvy? The divvy is important. So a lot of times, this music didn't allow us to adjust because there was no default, to do anything. It was AT&T. They don't give a damn about you. They just want you to pay a bill.
Right.
Coca-Cola, they don't give a damn about you. They just about to tear up your inside. So I don't feel like, man, I'm not gonna do any more of this music push,
Right.
unless we're counterattacking the adjustment in the market, and that's what we're doing.
Right. Now that's what's up, man. Definitely. So I appreciate you, man. I mean, you definitely like an encyclopedia of knowledge, brother. I tell you that much. I'm gonna stay watching, man. Let me know what's going on with this tour too, because definitely.
We coming to New York.
Okay, hey man, anywhere from DC up to New York, I'm in the area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
we coming to New York. I'll see if my son goes to Howard. So,
okay,
he'll open up. I don't know if he's trying to come back. I mean, he's like, man, but yeah. So yeah, we definitely it'll be remote, and I'll tell you this, like for all artists out there, we got the new packages that are coming. They're $600. Um, we had to figure some critique out for it because it took us some time.
right,
But $600, $1,500, and $2,500. These guys that have been spending that in this music game, just trying to get seen or heard and into that. Like you probably want to take on these packages because it's gonna change your life.
right,
And I don't care about spins, man, and all that. I'm at a point where I'm gonna put you into the DJ. I'm gonna bring you to his front door.
right, right.
You know, we need more people out there being adjusted, and I need your music, your investment, so you can invest in yourself.
Right. That's what's up, man. So let people know where they can reach you at, man. And definitely keep in tune with what you got going on. Cause trust me, it's a lot. If y'all been listening tonight, y'all got a whole lesson. Y'all got your first lesson free. Then you gotta come back, sign up with the guru over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, for music. I mean, my DJ's dope. Uh, the Instagram at my DJs with the S on the end, dope. And then my educational page got hacked. So
Oh wow.
yeah, man. But I mean, I got another one. I really don't be on there like that, but you can email me. You can email me at mydjsdope@gmail.com, or you can hit me at info@mydjsdope.com.
All right, definitely, man. I see them sponsors on that banner too, man. But we're gonna talk about
Yeah,
them.
man, you got to. Well, a lot of people know about DocuSign at this point.
Right.
And you got Gusto. Like I said, man, your boy. I mean, I got about 11 companies, and so I've been building something out. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I've been working on. Like, I'm pretty much done. We're ready. We're gonna launch. And so just teaching people about like I told my daughter, I never said this, but getting her master's, she was just telling me, well, daddy, I'm gonna work this job, and I say, well, let me explain something to you. Just because you got a job don't mean you don't need to own a business.
Right. Right. Definitely. And
So
if you could take one and learn everything you need to learn, like Mark Cuban and them did, and then turn
well,
that, you know what I mean, get that
you know,
info.
for your business, in the right finance space, you'll learn that it'll leverage your PG, man. And so that's all we on, man. I'm on a whole nother. Shout out to my baby with fires, man. We putting out fires.
That's
Man, shout out to my boy Van, man. He just passed, man. It's Van's vision. That's what we about to push, man. While
that's
we here.
definitely, man. And I wish you all the best, man. We definitely, you welcome anytime. And yo, man, I'm soaking up the game. So we're gonna talk some more. I'm just, you know what I mean, this for the public. But I'm gonna be back.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah. If y'all ever in Atlanta, man, y'all come check out our store, man. We got the new marathon popping on the east side of Atlanta.
Oh wow.
Real variety shop. Is placed in the middle of all of my schools that we teach at, and it also it has like a traffic of 10,000 people. So probably starting in 2 weeks, we're gonna start doing the back to school concert, so you can have like 10,000 people see you,
Right.
perform live, and then just note that you'll be also getting ahead, helping the future, which will definitely help you.
Definitely. That's what's up, man. All right, so we're gonna sign off. But like I said, man, appreciate you. And this is one of the pioneers right here. You heard all the stories. You see official. So that's
Yeah,
it.
man.
I showed them
I know
pictures.
everybody.
That's it.
Yeah, I know Eric. When I say everybody, I think my brain would bust, man. I know pretty much everybody, bro.
Nah, that's what it is, man. But you putting it to work, you putting in that work for the community. You definitely
Yeah,
on the next level, and I want to salute you for that, man. And like I said, that's what we're here for. We're here to try to take.
I appreciate it. I appreciate
Yeah,
boss talk. This is somewhere where I don't mind doing coming into, because it's just you keep it 100, and at the end of the day, it's just about uplifting people.
that's what it is, man. So like I said, we're gonna sign off, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. All right.
For sure.
All
Appreciate
right. Peace.
you.
As an artist, we should reflect the time.
Why you so talented?
Cause I'm black.
Why you so amazing?
Cause I'm black.
It's really important that we build characters so that people